Today I'll be going over the PrimeTime test review. Number 1 has a rectangle broken into two different rectangles, and it says write two expressions to solve for the area of this rectangle. So I can look at it two ways. I can look at it as if it's two rectangles and then add it together. So I would have 3 times 6 for this one. So I would write 3 times 6, and then I would add this rectangle to it, which is n, or 6 times n. Right? The second way would be to look at this as an entire rectangle. And for that, I would have 6 times the length. Well, the length is 3 plus n. Right? You could also arrange this so that the 6's are on the outside both. So you would have 6(3) plus 6n. So those are both of the correct ways. Number 2 says write two expressions to solve for the area of this rectangle. So this is the same concept, just practicing it again. You can look at two rectangles. So I'm going to do 3 times 2 for this one, plus 3 times 5. And then the other way would be to look at it as an entire rectangle, which would be 3, and then add these together to get the length, 2 plus 5. Number 3, find the prime factorization of 28 and 90 and express with exponents. Show all work. So we have 28, 90, split them up. You can split 28 any way you want. You'll end up with the same answer no matter what you choose. I will choose 4 and 7. This 7 is prime, so I'll circle it. 4 I split into 2 and 2. Both of the 2's are prime. It's very important to go ahead and write it up here. Remember, we don't write x's for multiplying anymore. We write dots or parentheses. So 28 is 2 times 2 times 7. 90, I'll go with 10 and 9. Neither of them are prime, so they'll split. 5 and 2 are both prime. 3 and 3 are both prime. So I'll write 90 as 2 times 3 times 3 times 5. It also wants it with exponents. So if I rewrite this one, I have two 2's. So I'd write 2 to the second power times 7. This one I have two 3's, so I'd write it as 2 times 3 to the second power times 5. Number 4 says find the GCF and LCM of 15 and 35. Show all of your work. So you can choose how you want to do this one. It doesn't tell you you have to use a Venn diagram or lists or anything. So 15, I'll do 5 and 3. 35, I'll do 7 and 5. Okay, and I'm going to look at the ones that overlap or are the same. The ones that are the same is only 1 5, so I know that my GCF is 5. My LCM, I multiply the one they have the same, and then I multiply in the ones that are different. And I do 5 times 3 times 7, which is 21 times 5, which is 105 for your LCM. Number 5, there are two bugs, bug A and bug B. Bug A reproduces every 5 years and bug B reproduces every 7 years. If they both just reproduce, when will they both reproduce in the same year again? Alright, so you would need to know on this one you are looking for your LCM, your least common multiple of 5 and 7. So you could sit here and list them all out, but I think what we discussed was if both numbers are prime, then their least common multiple will be when you just multiply them together. So it would be in 35 years. If it wasn't easy numbers like this, if it was like 15 and 27, then you would follow the same procedure you did up here, which is find the prime factorization of the numbers and either put them into your Venn diagram or know that the ones that they have in common make your GCF, and the ones they have in common times the ones they don't have in common give you your least common multiple. Number 6, I'm making snack bags I have 28 apples, 35 bags of trail mix, and 21 cans of juice. How many equal snack bags can I make so that the treats are shared equally? All right, so for this one, you need to know that you were looking for your GCF. Anytime you're splitting things up into equal pieces and parts, you're always looking for your GCF. So we have 28, 35, and 21. Those of you who are very comfortable with Venn diagrams, you can absolutely use the Venn diagram to do a three-way. That is a little bit confusing for a lot of people, so I'm not going to show that way. I'm going to go ahead and find the factors of these numbers and find the greatest one that they have in common. So we have 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, and 28. We have 1, 5, 7, and then 35. And then we have 1, 3, 7, 21. Looks like their greatest common factor is 7. So the most bags, make sure in the test that you don't just tell me what the most bags are, but you also tell me what they're going to be getting. So you would say, and I'm not going to write this out, so you can write it out, the most number of snack bags they could make would be 7, because that is the GCF of these three numbers. And they would receive 4 apples, 5 trail mix, and 3 cans of juice. So make sure you get that into your answer. Number 7, what number has a prime factorization of 2 to the 4th times 3 to the 2nd times 7? Again, I'm not going to give you the answer to this one, but I am going to show you how to answer it. 2 to the 4th is just 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which is not 8. A lot of you do 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 6 times 2 is 8. That is incorrect. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. So make sure you're careful with that, or at least put it in your calculator so you don't make that error. 3 times 3 is not 6. 3 to the 2nd is not 6. 3 times 3 is 9. And then times 7. If you multiply all of this out or put it into your calculator, it will give you the correct answer. 8. Find the GCF and LCM of 30 and 36 using prime factorization and Venn diagram. So it wants both. So I will start with 30 and 36. I'm going to write that right there. Let me come over here. 30, give myself some space, 36. Again, you can split it any way you want. You will get the same answer. And I'm making sure to split my numbers all the way until I have nothing but prime numbers left. Okay. And now for the Venn diagram, make sure you label this one 30 and this one 36. The ones that they have in common, which would be a 3 and a 2, go in the center. The ones they don't have in common will go outside. If you multiply these, it gives you your GCF. If you multiply all the way across, it gives you your LCM. I'll let you work that out. For the prime factorization method, you need to put one of these on top of the other. Okay. The ones that they have in common, you would highlight or circle, and your GCF equals 2 times 3, which is 6. Your LCM is what they have in common, and then also multiply what is left, and that will give you your LCM. So work that out and get it. Number 9, I will flip. Nope, I won't flip. New sheet. I have to use my scratch paper. Number 9 says solve 5 to the 3rd plus 4 to the 3rd minus 8 minus 9. Oops, sorry, plus 9. All right, so if we look at our order of operations, the first thing it wants us to do is work on our exponents. So that I don't make an error, I'm going to go ahead and write this out like this. And I'm going to write, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So the first thing I'm going to work on after I've already put this out is my parentheses. So the first thing I'll do is go ahead and solve this. 9 plus 8 is 17. and then I have exponents, which I've already go ahead and put out, but it actually says go ahead and solve it. So you have 5 times 5 times 5, which is 125, plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 is 64. So I've done that one. Now I need to multiply and divide left to right, which this may look like multiplication, but it actually was the exponents that we did. So we don't have any of this. Now we need to add and subtract from left to right. So I start from left, move right. So this gives us 189 minus 17. And that will give you your answer. 10. Solve 20 minus 4 squared divided by 4 plus 5. Remember, a number next to a parentheses, that means multiply. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. First thing I'll do is parentheses. This can be confusing because you think, well, this is parentheses. Actually, this is multiplication. Parentheses refer to something like this, where there's parentheses and within it there is something you need to solve. So we have no parentheses. Exponents. I'm going to go ahead and solve this as 4 times 4. I'm going to write it so that I don't accidentally give an answer of 8, which happens a lot. 4 times 4 is 16. So I'm going to rewrite my problem with a 16 there. Done with that. Multiply and divide from left to right. So I start over here, hit division first. So I'm going to solve that. 16 divided by 4 is 4. Okay, and now you multiply and divide. So let's look if I have any more multiplication and division. Yep, this will be the next one I solve. And I bring the rest of everything down, and I will let you solve it from there. From there, you're going to add and subtract from left to right. So I think you can probably get to that one pretty easily. Please see me if you have questions before the test. We will take half of it the first day and half of it the next day. Thank you.